Well, hello and welcome to Live from Airstrip 1. This is the left chicken wing versus the right chicken wing. Who is more fried? You can obviously understand what I mean by that. So let's go with our guests today. And we have Mackie again. Hello, Mackie.
What's up, bro?
Yeah, man. Mackie
You
with
good?
his
Yeah.
cool mask
Hello,
picture
everybody.
there.
Hello, everybody. Yes, KFC is the sponsor of this video. We should drop that sponsorship.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Some
before
finger
we
licking stuff.
continue. That's right.
You may have noticed an American style laugh in the background there from Mr. Rubber Ducky.
Hey, Mr. Rubber Ducky in the house getting chicken fried on a Saturday.
Yeah, man. So, as we're talking about getting fried, are you getting fried right now, Brian? Mr. Rubber Duck.
Literally, I am smoking on government Oasis that my wife said smells better than anything I've ever had.
Nice.
So-
I like the slight coughiness coming out your throat. You didn't quite cough. You held it in there good, like as you were speaking.
Pro.
Like a pro, yeah. Mackie, what are you smoking on, fella?
I got the vape. I don't know what it is. You know how?
Oh, yeah,
the
you're
same
your
old
same
shit.
old
we
shit.
eat Same old shit.
But you're
Same old
vaping
good
away.
shit. But still, yeah, man.
I've actually got some piney weed. It's
nice.
Super Silver Haze, an
Ooh.
S2 from Chilbert, and it's quite piney, but it's
Oh, very nice. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chilbert there as well. It was his birthday yesterday, wasn't it? 50
It
years
was.
old.
a
Legend.
50th, mate. Car. We both just reached
Happy
that milestone
birthday.
recently, so I do have a special joint for his birthday. I made some Baywatch hash out of his plant, so
Nice.
yeah. So today, then, left and right, right and left. Is anyone in the centre anymore? Is there such thing as a centre? Because all we
I
hear
don't
is
think
left
so.
and right, isn't it? That's all you hear now.
There's people who try to be in the center, but they get forced in one direction or the other because both sides are quite tribalistic nowadays. They are, and I think the left are more tribalistic than the right. But you can't be in the middle anymore. Pick a side, man.
I would have to start out to saying that I really do think that the far left now are becoming almost like an extreme cult. They're not
Yeah,
left wing libertarians no more. There's like an extension to the left. If you know what I mean?
yeah.
What about
it's
you,
the same with the
Brian?
right, isn't it? It's like there's extremes on both sides, isn't it? Like
Oh, yeah, for
cultish
sure.
behavior on the far
Yeah.
left and the far right. Yeah,
Of course, but I think at the minute the far left never really had as much cultism in them, if you know what I mean, as they do now on the mass. If you know what I mean, it's like it's
Yeah,
become a bit more too widespread. It's like some people not listening to logic and reason, and that's what the far right, where everyone had the issue in the first place, is like, well, you're not listening to fact and logic and reason and normal people's thoughts and feelings. Like, if you know what I mean, just standard logical feelings from a normal person. Obviously, like, yeah, the left and right in America now is probably in the newspaper the most, really. Well, I say newspaper, it's internet now, online and chat rooms and social media, really is like the driving force of it. But I think America focus at the minute is sort of still central to the world, and it's pushing, I suppose, the subjects we're all discussing. Even though some countries are going a bit more extreme with some of the, like, I suppose, like the trans stuff, or some of the other like extreme points that people have been talking about on both sides. But so Israel as well is another like left and right sided issue, and sort of. But I think America is becoming like a central hub for what is left and what is right, and that's where the central fighting ground's begun. Because the left and right I see in the UK, in Canada, Australia, like most of Europe now is sort of following suit in what they decide what is left of view and a right view. If you get what I mean. Could you follow what I'm saying there?
yeah. I'm just wondering what Brian thinks about this as well.
Yeah, definitely. I noticed here in America before Elon Musk bought Twitter that there were young minds that, because there was this weird stuff going on during Twitter, where all of a sudden it was like you were homophobic if you said that men can't have babies, and those kind of things, where it got, to me, it got scary, not really necessarily for me but for my children, because I was afraid, like, where is this gonna go? And I feel like a lot of people were too afraid to say, like, obviously men can't have babies. This shit is ridiculous. Let's
Mhm.
keep it scientific, because especially back then, it seemed like Twitter was the voice for America, or at least in Colorado. I mean, it might be different in different states, but there were people that were showing up, and I was going to the reptile events, and it seemed like the extreme left was basically saying, like, if you don't agree with these certain things that we are saying, that we basically know aren't true, but you have to agree with it,
Yeah.
then we're going to cancel you. And that
Yeah.
was the part when you're talking about, and I know it happens on both sides, but
Mhm.
extreme wise, I just thought that was very telling,
Yeah,
because there
yeah.
were,
So,
yeah, go
sorry,
ahead.
and you say it happens on both sides, and we've seen this demonstrated recently, like in the last couple of years, especially because if you remember the right, when they kicked off about Bud Light, because Bud Light put Dylan Mulvaney on one of their fucking cans and became, trans inclusionary and all of this shit, and the that was not their base customer. They was against that kind of stuff, so they stopped buying Bud Light. Kid Rock shot some cans and shit like that. Remember when that happened? But
Yeah.
that was it. There was no violence towards anybody. There was no burning down of Bud Light factories or people who sell Bud Light and things like that. But we've seen recently how the extreme far left are pissed off with Elon Musk because he got involved with Doge. And, there's a whole next level thing what's going on with Elon. But these guys were burning down Tesla dealerships. They're damaging people's property. And it's a different kind of, I don't know, protest which they're doing. When the left get upset, bad shit happens, man. But when the right get upset, they boycott certain things. And it doesn't seem to be as much violence in the same way. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
I've definitely seen, like, it's not just the news clips on the internet, but the other and everywhere else. But it's like you've seen that the left have done far more, not just violent, but sort of doxing of people as well. If you know what I mean, that I think that is more dangerous than some of them than burning a Tesla. If you know what I mean, because that's like calling on direct action for thousands of people to cause harm on a person. If you know what I mean,
Yeah.
like the recent one with that girl that done the finger and used the N word. If you know what I mean, and then they doxed her and she put that campaign up
Right.
now.
Yeah.
For,
Yeah. I've seen that
yeah,
recent thing. Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
like I can understand people not liking what she said, but to dox her and to cause her family sort of like to live in fear for a word, it's like that is just fucking extreme. If that's you can't see if that's extreme, then what the actual fuck? It's like she used the word what everyone thinks is bad, so ignore her, think she's a cunt, if you know what I mean, and never interact with her again. Anyone, it's like quite simple. If she's a racist, then you don't interact with her. She'll lose her life and by not having no friends as such, if you know what I mean, being ignored by businesses, like, but to actually threaten her life and to put her children and family in danger for that, which is that's you can see now why people have gone like, you know what, fuck you, you deserve the money to move away. It's like it's gone too far, the left, if you know what I mean. This is what I'm saying, they've gone to an extreme left. It's like they would never have done anything like that before. That's not liberalism,
And
is
you
it?
notice as well when the left kick off, it's not because they are offended; it's because they're pretending to be offended on
On
behalf of
behalf,
somebody else.
exactly,
No,
like,
it's like it's just a huge virtue signaling thing. It's
yeah,
like these people can fight for themselves. You don't need to step up with your blue hair and your Karen behavior, pretending like, oh, I will fight for you because you ain't fighting for shit. You're fucking. I'm gonna pause myself. I'm gonna.
yeah. See
I'm
what the
not gonna go too crazy here,
yeah
but fucking, they
the
piss
thing
me off,
is,
man. It's ridiculous.
when I watch all this shit, the first thing I do, I go to the Hodge twins and to Officer Tatum just to see what they're saying, and to people like Colon Noir, yeah. Like, so these are actual black people who have grown up with the culture, and are speaking against the culture, just to see their take on this shit, man. Because I don't give a fuck what all the newspaper. I want to see that someone who's been in that situation and lived it and knows it is going to say about it. If you know what I mean. And it's like these people are being picked on as well, and it's like everyone's just being ignored for extremism, like you say. It's like, what the hell is going on? Like Musk being people being firebombed in Teslas, being punched in the face just for driving a Tesla, old pregnant women, like, and the list goes on with what they've been doing. It's like, I know the right have extremists as well, but what I've seen over the last 2 years or more, it's all left wing extreme what's causing the violence and the real craziness, and that to me is like, whoa, it's like
Yeah.
the world's flipping on its head. If you know what I mean? It's like the fascists and the Nazis are screaming, "We're the fascists and Nazis," but like you're the ones doing the fascist and Nazi stuff, and it's like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't tell them. I'm now classed as right wing probably for saying all these things. Yeah, if you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you know, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like if you
I'm a
don't agree
Nazi.
with absolutely
Yeah.
everything about the extreme left agree with, they label you as far right.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
like you
far
have
right
to
now.
agree with
Well, hey-
absolutely fucking everything.
I want to ask you guys a question real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Let's say Elon Musk doesn't buy Twitter and basically reveal the fact that this is kind of like a government wing, or it was running as like a government site. So that doesn't happen. So that means that basically I don't think enough information gets out. So maybe Trump doesn't get elected. Where do you think that the world would already kind of be in chaos if those kind of things had already happened? Where
Close to it, I think. Yeah, I think the Musk and Trump doing them two things ultimately changed a big step of the world because it allowed people like me and you, normal people, to communicate the truth with each other and then try and sort of fight against it in a normal way politically and
Well,
through
communicate
business
what
and
we see
communicate.
as the truth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what
You
we
know.
see as the truth. Yeah, what we witness and what we understand as the truth. So, but at least we do it in a normal manner, sort of thing. Like,
And this is the thing, because that's what concerns me the most with the left and the right wing. It's the right wing are not trying to censor anybody's speech. It's like you can say what you fucking like, but the left, it seems like the far left are trying to stop people from saying all sorts of things, and that's where my problem comes in.
Well,
So you have your truth, I have mine. We both discuss it and come up with the truth, or as close as we can to it. But if we can't have the conversations in the first place, then we're never going to get there.
It's like the AfD party in Germany. They're looking to be like suspended and like banned from elections, and it's like, are Germany really going in this direction again? But it's which is, and the far left is saying, well, the far right are the Nazis. Like, yeah, but you're doing the fascism by stopping them.
You know what I mean?
It's like, it's like reverse. They're reverse. Which is, so the AfD are like, it's like East Germany versus West Germany again, but it's West Germany which are the Nazis now.
Crazy to think.
Yeah,
Crazy.
and so like they're the ones that want to put up another wall.
They're the
it's
ones
like-
calling everybody a fascist at the same time they're trying to censor free speech and trying to stop people from running for political office.
Yeah,
It's
the
just
EU have
what
done
you
it
need
as
on
well
about.
with in place like Hungary and Bulgaria and whatever other places. It's like, what the actual fuck is going on, man? It's like,
might
is
not
it
agree
really
with
switched
them,
that way?
But
Yeah,
you have to let them run. That's
yeah,
democracy.
exactly. Yeah, that's how you find out what people want, by listening to everything they want, then their policies, and then you decide, oh, do I want to vote for that? Yes or no? And then that's up to the people, then, isn't it? No one can say what the people want or what they don't want. It's down to the people to decide themselves. That's the freedom of life, isn't it? Otherwise, you'd live under tyranny, which is exactly what's happening at the minute. It's like they are, and it is the far left which are putting anyone not with the far left under tyrannical surveillance and shutting them down, putting people in prison for putting out videos or posting something online.
Yeah.
So
Scary,
to
man.
me, it's scary. Yeah, to live in England at the minute, it's fucking scary. You wonder what I type online and what I say online, and the police going to come and knock on my door and say, "Oh, we don't agree with you, mate. You're going to have to go to prison for that shit." And it's like, what, for something I said? I'm not inciting no violence. I just think we need to do something politically about all
But what
these.
you said could be seen as a hate crime and it could be offensive towards somebody, so you need to be
It's like,
arrested.
I obviously
Fucking
hate
bullshit.
people. Like, it's like bullshit, mate. Fucking hell. So what gets me is like all this left-right stuff. We have a actual African who speaks French come look after Mitch. He's employed by an agency, and it is a bit like, I think I'll vote reform because of all the craziness going on. Like, even he sees it. It's like, so it's God.
But
like,
identity politics has
he?
become
Yeah.
a big thing for the left now, isn't it? That's a
Yeah.
big problem, which has affected a lot of which have been happening in politics in the Western world recently. I think, anyway. I think it's a big reason why Trump won in the USA recently, because the Democrats just ran off with the identity politics bullshit, And normal people do not line up with that. They don't think that men can have babies. And they don't think that trans men or trans women, whichever word you want to use. I'm not too good with the lingo, but biological males who have transed into a woman should not be able to participate in women's sports. Most people, like 95% of people, agree with that. But they ran with it like, if you don't think that men should be fighting women in the fucking boxing ring because they identify as a woman now, if you don't think that, then you're far right and you don't belong with us. So just, it just pushes people away because of just crazy ideology.
The English Supreme Court have just ruled on that, haven't they?
Yeah.
And they're still fighting and going against it, even though it is now actually against the law and all that. But like the FA, like the Football Association in the UK, have just announced that from next season onwards, like they're going to adhere to the laws and all of that. But
Good.
people still, which they should, man. So how a boy against a girl is like the physical strength is just in sport that becomes dangerous of death. Like you're at a risk of death in football anyway from headbutting each other. From when you're going up for a header again, a defender against an attacker or a goalkeeper, all jumping for the ball. One's going to head it and all that. Collide heads, blam. So if two girls do that with a male goalkeeper, right, a male goalkeeper is just going to jump through them. It's like what the fuck? It's like, do you not understand? Like it's like people don't seem to understand basic biological and physical fact, if you know what I mean, anymore. And that's what drives, I think, everyone insane. It's that ignoring just something what's been fact for 99.9% of our history, and we know it is, if you know what I mean.
That's why it seems cultish to me, is because of the way it was almost like they're trying to say, like, all right, if people are gonna say that men can have babies and all this, then how, to me, that's why I asked you that question with Twitter and all that. How far do you think all that shit would have gone? Like, in my opinion, I thought, exactly.
All the way that would have gone.
They would have been weird, gotten real weird.
Because they would have implemented the laws, so you had to do it. You would have been arrested if you didn't have that view. You know what I mean? It would have been against the law to refuse a man into the changing room when your 8-year-old child's getting changed. He'd be able to stand there with his dick out in her face, and it'd be completely
Hold
legal.
on, Billy. That's not inclusive language. We've heard dick out.
With her dick out. That's what I mean. So, and you wouldn't even be allowed to accuse him of being a fucking So it's like it's just ludicrously like that a father cannot even protect his children properly, if you know what I mean. That's where people started to draw the line, is when they started saying you can't actually protect your children. You're like, what the actual fuck is going on there? It's like, nah, mate.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, because it's horrible to fucking sound transphobic, because I don't want to ever sound like I'm offending anybody.
Man, you know what? No, just to say that, okay, Rock a Horror Picture Show, for fucking, since it's been like everyone loves it. One of the best fucking classic films ever.
That's one of the best,
you know that's one of the best films and musicals ever made. Yeah, everyone knows that, and if you don't, then you're a dickhead. Like,
never seen it. Never seen it. Don't want to watch it.
You should do, because it's brilliant. Oh yeah, it's a music. Yeah, I know. For a musical, I hate musicals.
Watch it in
myself.
Red Rocks, dude. It has a cult following.
It's just so funny. That film is just a comedy. It's almost comedy rather than musical, to be honest, isn't it? Really. So it's like that. So that's how Martina Navratilova. They even picked up. I think that's how you say her name. That's as close as I can get to it. They even picked on her when, like, she would have been hung in her own country with her boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever they see it as, because like he was an original trans, and she refused to not be interviewed without like the him, her next to him, like for years, if you know what I mean, for her entire career. And she pioneered it into society, and they even picked on her, and it's like, what the actual fuck? She's a pioneer of the original. They even picked on like the original LGBT society as well, like so, and they've split.
Crazy.
Stonewall gone mental. They've completely split now because they don't support the T+, and it's like, lesbians are not allowed to be lesbians, because if they don't suck woman dick, then they're TERFs.
No, for real, man. For real.
For real. This is what I mean.
Because it sounds ridiculous.
It sounds like a joke, but it's not.
You're absolutely right.
This is a joke. Fucking hell.
Because we've seen it anywhere. Like there's clubs where specifically lesbians go to, women who are attracted to other women, which is all good. I'm not homophobic in any way. You do you,
No.
man. Not a problem at all. And I can
I can
completely
see why men
understand
want to
when
go
they're
to them
like,
clubs, but like,
yeah, but they're not allowed in. You know,
exactly. So you
these
shouldn't be
are
allowed.
women who are interested in women. So, and that's what they're looking for. They have their own preferences, which is cool. But then they get hate because they don't want trans women in there. You know, women with a penis. It's like they're not interested in penis. It's not what they're looking for. So, but people find, I don't know, they get angry with that. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Well, when I was a youth worker, the woman I worked with, she was one of the first few people to work with young people in the police station. If you know what I mean, she was part of a little local lesbian group society. And they used to have meetings every Tuesdays and all that in a pub, and everyone knew that they weren't allowed to go in that pub on like the Tuesday night because it was like women's night for the lesbians, and it's like quite simple. Yep. Everyone used the area normally, and then on that night, it's like any men just know, okay, I can't go in there tonight.
Yeah, but nowadays, well, in the UK, 6 months ago, it would have been a bit different because it would have been like, hold on, I identify as a woman. And it's like, oh, well, in you go, miss. You know, regardless of anything else. Otherwise,
and it's a dating night.
No, you're a bloke. Off you go. Yeah.
And it's like, but it's like they're not attracted to you, mate. It's like,
and just to bring it round back to the topic, this is what the left wing think. This is the extreme, and not just the normal left people, but the extreme left wing. This is what they think. It's crazy. They're trying to. It's like it's gone from, let's just say, trans people wanting to be accepted in society, which legitimate trans people should be. You shouldn't be hating our people for any reason. That's just ridiculous. But it's when they're trying to force it on you, that's where it starts to become an issue. When they're trying to change my ideology, it's like, this is my ideology, I'm fine with it, you have yours, let's just not clash. But it's like, oh no, now you have to listen. So instead of just being, I want to be accepted by society, now it's, I want to be accepted by society and I want you to change your worldview to suit mine, and that's not cool with me. You know what I mean? Does that make I hope you understand what I mean. So I don't want to come across as transphobic.
No, but you will do because of how they think.
That's it. I will do. Some people are going to think that I am just because I said men can't have babies, and that's up to them. You're going to be transphobic if you like, but I know that I'm not trans. If somebody is trans and they genuinely feel that way, then who am I to fucking say what their human experience is? That's their experience, man. They know themselves better than I know them. So who am I to tell them that they're wrong? You know what I mean? But just don't try and tell me I'm wrong. It's as simple as that for me.
So when I was in Gran Canaria, there's like, you got like the drag artist bit where they all go to, like, because it's quite a big gay community there. My mate used to work in the golf place, which is just off of there. So I used to have breakfast with him in the cafe there, and you'd get all some of the drag artist dudes in there, like in the morning, just as dressed as normal, having teas and coffees and all that. And like everyone just be sitting around like normal, and another night they'd all be in their drag artists doing their comedy acts and all that. And they'd all be gay men, but they're men who just dress up as drag artists. But now these drag artists are now claiming to be women. And even these normal drag artists are thinking, what the fuck? Like, you're making me look like a cock now. Yeah? And I just want to be gay. And so even normal gay men are now being ostracised. And it's like, to me, it's like it's banging your head against the brick wall. It is like it's like I say, it's a mental health cult delusion now. It's not just normal. It's like everyone's drinking the water and it's turning the frogs gay, like Mad Dog says there. It's it's like
it's turning the frogs gay.
Also the amount of when you look at it, the Hollywood superstars, how many trans kids do these people have? What's the percentage? What would that actually be? Like, how many billion to one would that be?
Just it's coming down again to the left wing, the extreme left propaganda bullshit. Because it's part of, if you notice, it's mainly like white middle class kids who are transitioning. And it's because, one, they're well off, so they have the privilege of trying to find things to be worried about. They don't have many worries in their life, so they've got these other issues. But also, there's been this kind of white hatred agenda that's been pushed for a while by these extreme leftists. And it's as if the white people are oppressors. Which may have been the case like a while ago, but I don't think it's the case anymore. But as a result, it's like white people are encouraged to hate themselves to some extent. You know what I mean? This is like left-wing shit, but this extreme lefty shit again. And it's like, because of that, instead of being this this hierarchy, these people, saying that these people are on the hierarchy, they are the oppressors. By moving over into the trans community, they become victims again in some way. They become the oppressed rather than the oppressors. You know what I mean? So you see,
Yeah.
this is why you see a lot of
Totally.
these middle class white folk turning into trans because they don't want to feel like the oppressor, which feels like society has been heading in that kind of direction with their
Yeah.
message recently.
The
Well,
white
not society, but the far left again. The far
you're a
left.
white colonizer if you're not an oppressed
Yeah.
white person, if you know what I mean. So yeah, if you're not one of the
Mhm.
oppressed, then you're a white. Especially men my age now, sort of thing. We're the epitome of life. It's like even though most of us are now over our age invented most of the stuff what everyone's using now and is maintaining it as well, like all your electrical systems, the drains, the sewage, the bins. Maybe not in Birmingham, but like, and in other places. but if you get what I mean, it's like
Yeah.
men maintain the world, and most of these men are just normal centrist men, if you know what I mean, who just want to
Yeah.
get on with their job, earn some decent money doing it, and support their family. It's like, and now they're being forced to almost be told they can't do it. We've got to accept women. We've got to accept women into the Marines, so they're not able to climb in the window to help someone. To then that gets the whole squad killed and all the hostages because she wasn't fit enough and strong enough or tall enough to climb in the window because of DEI. It's like stick a 6'2" fucking dude like old farmer in
Jesus.
there, and he would have been through the window and out carrying 10 people on his shoulders. Like, but that's the difference between extreme left and just being normal. If you know what I mean, accepting people being, are you good at the job or not? Sort of thing, because that's what's making it dangerous as well, is people being put in positions of not being good enough as well.
Yeah, man, this is a proper far right conversation, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it is now, because which is why I think it needs to be said as well, because like we're just normal stoners who sit here and smoke weed, so like in a way that's left wing position in it, not wanting people to bomb and kill each other is originally a libertarian position, wasn't it? Having freedom of speech was originally a left wing
It's
position.
so fucking important, man. Freedom of speech, freedom of expression is so fucking important.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if you want to be able to say that men want to be like women, and then you're free to do it. If you know what I mean, you're free to dress in your drag on a show on a Friday night if you want, and all meet up in the pub as drag queens and
That's right,
do
man.
whatever the fuck with each other. I don't
You
give
do
a
you.
fuck. You do you.
I won't tell you what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what I should be doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Simple as that.
Yeah, and that's where the extremism comes in, is that they're trying to force their ideology onto everyone else. When it's like, well, no, we've let you be normal because that's what you all are in a way. You're just normal,
Whatever that is.
Whatever that is. But like, it's like you're just a normal person like us. But don't push some of your crazy issues onto us, because they are crazy. Like, men can't have babies.
You both know that chick, right? Blair White.
Yeah.
You see how I say that chick? Because
Yeah,
I refer to Blair White as a female.
Yeah,
but
because everyone
she's-
accepts her as
she's a
Blair
trans
White.
woman.
Yeah, she's a trans
No,
woman.
she used
but,
to be a male, but I would call she's she to me.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
but
same here. Yeah,
It's
I know
not
what
like
you mean.
I'm against calling a trans person by their preferred pronouns. It's just, I don't want let's just say, for lack of a better example, a big fat bold hairy guy wearing a dress. I don't want me legally obliged to call him her and Sheila or whatever the fuck he wants to be fucking called. 'Cause I'm not playing into somebody's fucking fantasies like that. They're not getting off on me playing into their delusions or the games they want to play. It's just, I feel like there's some sick, perverted people out there that would go to those extents and get
there
off
is.
on it. It's like,
Yeah,
I'm not
which is
playing
why-
into your sexual fantasies, man. I don't want to do that, but I will
which is
respect
the
somebody.
Which is the
who
original
wants to
reason
do
women
trans.
were given their safe spaces, because of this reason, because men can be extreme and extremely dangerous. So women have to have a safe space away from all males of birth, if you know what I mean, all biological men. Even if you want to identify as a woman, I might accept that, but you can be very
I
dangerous.
saw this tool the other day
So-
having this discussion on the internet. This guy who's on the radio here in the UK, I won't mention any names, but goddamn, this guy's a fucking fool. And he's having an argument with a woman. The woman called into his show and was like, I don't want trans women or biological men who are now transitioning into women. I don't want them getting changed in the same changing room as me. And the guy's like, yeah, but there's a curtain between you. What's the problem? What do you think they're going to do to you? And it's like he just doesn't understand, man, that
Yeah.
a woman's privacy matters more. He doesn't want to get perved on. You know, what if the guy wants to pull back the fucking curtain and have a peek, and then she can't do anything about it? You know, and he didn't understand this whole concept. And he's trying to tell this woman that she doesn't have the right to be concerned. And he's like, who is this man to try and tell this woman how she should be feeling in a changing room?
Yeah.
You know,
it's
when
like,
she
again,
feels under threat, when she feels at risk, and you're going to tell her, oh, you shouldn't be feeling like that. It's like, fuck you, who are you? You can't tell her that. You
Exactly,
can't tell
yeah.
somebody's experience is incorrect. This is how she feels about it. And you want to try and diminish that like it doesn't fucking
you're not
matter
allowed.
because
You're
you're
not
a
allowed.
bloke.
Yeah. You're not allowed to live in fear of something you actually should be fearful of. It's like,
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
disgusting to try and tell a woman, oh, you have no right to be afraid of that. Fucking disgusting, man. Fuck them. Fuck that fool.
Yeah, and that's the problem in it when you get people like fucking LBC James O'Brien dickhead doing this.
How
shit
did
to
you know I
people.
was talking about him? How did you know?
Well,
How did you
I don't know, mate. Just a quick guess from him doing it all the time. And he is
I used to listen to that
as well.
guy.
By
I used to listen to that guy.
So,
I used to enjoy his show, and then I woke up to the actual bullshit he chats, man.
yeah,
He just loads of things I started to just disagree with him on. Like I can see he's very obtuse. Yeah, I don't know if he even knows what he's talking about most of the time. He
these
refuses
people
to see
live in a
anybody
bubble.
else's perspective.
All they do is
That's
go
it,
to and from the
definitely.
show,
Yeah.
live in drinking wine in posh restaurants and all that. They don't live in the fucking real world amongst people. That's the problem. They all live in their little bubble. Yeah, they're all ferried around in their cars and aeroplanes. Yeah, away from everyone else. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they don't live in the real world.
They don't live in the world that everyone else lives in. Yeah. As soon as you reach that sort of political, I suppose, media elite, isn't it? It's like a mixed bag. They're all the same people. They all went to the same schools and shit.
What's Brian saying in the background, man? Brian hasn't said much.
Yeah, man.
He's just listening
Yeah.
to us getting ourselves in shit here, Brian, and not getting involved. Come on, bro. Grab a shovel.
Yeah,
you know?
cover a shovel, man.
Well,
Dig
to be
yourself
fair,
in.
some of the people that you're talking about, I don't personally know who they are.
Yeah,
I suppose,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, James O'Brien is a radio presenter on a big radio show in the UK, if you know what I mean. It's mainly London-based, but everyone in the UK listens, or the left-wingers listen to it online as well, if you know what I mean. So he's like a
So I
big...
used to be on the left. I used to
big
be a proper
presenter.
lefty, just to let you all know that. I'm
I
not just
didn't know
talking
that.
here from the right. Yeah, I used to be proper lefty, mate. Bernie Sanders supporter and everything.
Yeah, he was
Proper
Bernie
fucking
Sanders
lefty.
all the way, mate. Whereas I'm from East London, so technically I've always been right wing, just from being a Cockney.
Hey, did you boys see who was at Luigi's hearing the other day?
Well, no, who was that?
Chelsea Manning.
AOC. Chelsea Manning? Okay.
Oh, right.
Okay. Interesting. Why
Go
was
on,
she
then.
there?
I don't know. Don't you find that very interesting?
I do indeed, actually. But yeah, it's interesting what's going on with that Luigi guy as well. Do you see, again, this is like the left wing supporting extreme violence, because though I do not agree with these huge health corporations, these insurance companies removing money from people who need it to keep their fucking lives on track with their medication. There's some sick shit going on, but you shouldn't be shooting down the CEO in the fucking
No,
street.
you should be
That's not
supporting
the way
Do-
it's done.
you should be supporting Doge and your president to try and change the laws and regulations so they can't.
Know what
do
I
it.
mean?
But yeah. So,
And if you see how they're all kicking off because of that Maryland man. Like, due process is so important. Okay, well, what about that CEO's due process? Should he have gone to court and stood in front of a fucking jury, and he should have got his due process? But it's okay for him to be gunned down in the street and fucking killed, isn't it? And it's like their double standards on the left are shocking. The hypocrisy is next level.
Did
I
you
think
boys
that's
see
the
what
biggest
happened?
issue. Yeah, hypocritical.
What-
Go on, carry on, Brian.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. The Maryland man, when they shaved his head, did you see what was on the back of his head?
No,
MS-13.
no way, really?
Yeah, brother. He's
Oh.
the human trafficker, man. They're trying to make him out like he's some fucking.
Yeah. It's like he was in 2019, from what I've seen. The Maryland man.
You got
Was,
that shit tattooed on your head, bro.
Well, he was arrested twice, and two different judges decided he was an MS-13 member. And now the mainstream media, well, especially the left-leaning mainstream media, is trying to make out like, oh no, this guy was a saint. He was a pillar of his community. It's like, man, you can see the hypocrisy so fucking much when it comes to the left. It's ridiculous. You see it with the right as well. I don't know.
Yeah, but
It's
it's
just
not as
the
an
left are on
extreme though.
next level.
That this is the problem. It's like the right. I have had some extreme stuff go on, and they still bring out some stupid things now and again.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
if you know
yeah.
what I mean. But the
Like,
left
like
is
again
like
with the
it's
Marilyn
so
Man. I'll just
far.
add
Yeah,
to it. So
yeah.
because
Go on.
Trump had that interview with ABC recently. Do you see that?
Yeah,
And Trump was going on. He's got MS-13 tattooed on his knuckles, and then the right wing media was making out like that he did, but he doesn't. That was photoshopped in. He does have like it's a marijuana leaf, and
for
then
him. Yeah.
what was it? And the next one was a smiley face, and then it had a cross, and then a skull on his little finger. So and they're like, and this could be symbolized to be MS-13, which is fine, but he didn't have MS-13 tattooed on his knuckles. The right wing were kind of pushing that, the left wing were pushing the opposite when neither side was true. And that's what you got to look out for, man. It was the way they just pick and take little parts of different news stories to make
See,
it
that's
fit their agenda
yeah,
instead of
that's the
properly
problem. Yeah.
informing us.
They
You
need
know?
to wait. Everyone needs to like just wait a bit and just like let the left run off with their crazy. And she said because the truth will come out in the end, which it has because of all the other evidence of him being a human trafficker. So if they just wait a while, they don't have to worry about.
But they won't report on it.
No,
They won't say anything. The right leaning news organizations, they will report on it, but the left people ain't watching that. You know what I mean? Or if they do see it, they'll be like, "Oh, they're just lying." Because there's both sides have this issue of not being able to accept when they're wrong and not being able to critically assess
So yeah,
information.
that's the
provided
problem,
with.
isn't it? Yeah, I've changed my
Because
mind
they
a few
both lie.
times
Yeah, yeah.
on shit. Yeah,
Because there's bullshit pushed on both sides. Yeah, it's like I sound like I'm a fucking proper right wing nutcase to some people, but I'm not. I would like to say that I'm more of a centrist. And if I go by surveys that I've done, I'm a left leaning libertarian. But as Aussie Jim said in the chat, there it's like the left has moved so far to the left now and taken the line with them that people who are just centrists or slightly left leaning are moved over to center right now. And our policies hasn't changed. Our position hasn't changed in any way. It's just that the left, the actual meaning of being left, has moved so far left that just being centrist turns you into far right now. And that's fucking wild, man.
the media have sort of taken the extreme cult side of it and then run with it to push it
I
so
think
far. If you
the
think
media
what I mean.
are so much to blame for all of this. What's going on now in the world is 95% because the media is just pushing bullshit on us. And whether they're doing that on purpose as like a way to disrupt society so we all fight against each other, or they're just trying to sell newspapers and clicks. You don't know which one it is.
Both.
He's just trying to feed the algorithm, probably a bit of both. Because what's the bottom line? I'm just going to have a quick rant. Sorry, but what's the ending? Is the whole agenda of these people, the Illuminati, the Bilderbergs, whoever the fuck is running the show, is their agenda just to bring hatred and division by dividing us up into lesbian, gay, straight, trans, two-spirit, again, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, boomers, white, black, immigrant, native, all these different society sections
everyone's got a
we're
label
breaking up into now. We all got loads of things to be picking on each other for. So if we just keep fighting against each other, we don't go for them. At some point, the tensions get too high and it really kicks off. And then ordinary people would be like, oh, let's implement martial law, give the government more power so they can control what's going on and keep us safe. And those powers are never removed from there. They just have full control over us and we can't do anything about it.
A bit like the temporary tax laws, you mean? Like
that's right. Temporary tax for World War One. World War right now, so we just need to charge a little bit of tax. It's only going to be a year or two, and then we'll remove it. And not us, because we're the UK. We've always been taxed, but
we've always been. Yeah, as soon as they invented Windows, mate, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah. Fucking daylight robbery.
Tax. Exactly.
I need to just go and grab a beverage. So I'll start fucking ranting for a second. But goddamn, it frustrates me, man. It frustrates me. I'll be back in a minute.
So, like you said earlier, Brian, like you mustn't notice a swing in your media since like Twitter's taken over because everyone's more focused on online news rather than what they see on the TV news now. Do you think, sort of thing?
Yeah, kind of more what I was getting at. At least for a while there, it seemed like parts of America, bigger cities, were afraid to say anything, brands, all this kind of stuff, whether it was like a small owned business or Target. Like it seemed like all of a sudden everybody was bowing down to some of these weird ideas. And weird ideas, I mean like opposite of scientific fact. Like I've never had a problem with anybody in the way that they want to live their life. unless they try to force it on you. And I think from the early days, a lot of intelligent people saw that they were forcing this kind of stuff, but were too afraid to say anything. So it just kept getting worse and worse until eventually people saw that most of America quietly did still believe these things. Um, I would say in my area, most men and women agree that like a woman and Mike Tyson should not be boxing each other no matter what. Like it doesn't
Yeah,
matter. I also agree. You know, my wife's pretty big. She's been into reproductive. She went to school for a lot of that kind of stuff, right? She also agrees that men can't have babies. You know what I mean? And I
yeah, I
think
understand that.
the viewpoint of though in certain. I'm speaking from Denver because it was very. It's weird to me that most people kind of view the left leaning side of things in this town. But then when you go downtown, like today, which is real relevant to me because I was just down there this morning, you see what policies create when the years go by. And I don't necessarily, I know like San Francisco and maybe a few
Tent
other
cities.
cities where where the rich are forced to live with that. So now they're starting to question everything. Where on the right, people have been saying this for like 5 years or more, like, hey, if we keep having these policies, you're going to have drug users in the streets. And everybody, 5 years ago or so thought that sounded crazy. And I can assure you, right here in Denver, Colorado, when I'm walking down the street with my family, you can see people defecating, you can see people using heroin, you can see people fighting, fucking, all kinds of stuff. And this is in high end. There are high end condos and apartments and all kinds of stuff in that area downtown. It used to be called even the ballpark lofts. Was kind of like, oh man, you must be doing really well in life because you live in the ballpark lofts. And that's kind of like the epic center now for a lot of that stuff, man, is by the stadium and where they don't really like shoo anybody away. It's eye opening that when I was younger, I didn't understand why my grandfather and some people in my family were so into politics because it never seemed like it really mattered. But now that I'm definitely getting older, I see it. Like if your city is saying like, all right, let's encourage drug use, let's encourage people to come here from other cities because we're gonna basically allow them to freely, openly use drugs, and then kind of lie to the people living in where I live, like in the southern part of Colorado. So we don't really see that. So if it was in our face, I can assure you that Colorado would have already switched a lot of this stuff. But the people that actually go downtown to work and stuff, they can escape it. Kind of like what Mackie was saying. So when it's in your face, and I would imagine if this continues, Denver is going to be one of those cities like San Francisco.
Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem now. Is a lot of people never really see what their policies were implementing, but now it's on their doorstep. A lot more are changing their mind. So, go
Sorry,
on.
Billy. No, I was just saying because we've spoken quite a bit here about how the left have flaws and what the flaws of the left are, but also what do we think about the flaws of the right? Because this is left chicken wing versus right
Well,
chicken wing. We said a lot about the left chicken wing, but not much about the right chicken wing.
I think the problem with the right at the minute is, again, like you said, the some of the media are getting things and running with it, which ain't really true, and they're trying to push agendas still. They're still
Yeah.
pushing it rather than they're waiting for some
But that's the
facts
case
to
on
come out
both
a bit more.
sides, and
Yeah.
but we're able to point out, the left fucking propaganda, the trans propaganda, the LGBT bullshit, women in sports. There's things that we can point at directly with the left that seem a little bit crazy. But what about on the right? What kind of policies does the right have? The far right. I mean, it would
I'm not sure.
be.
There ain't no far right. We ain't far right as in going into the like that. You're some sort of Nazi type policies where we wanted mass
Mhm,
deportations or anything like that. But that ain't even far right either.
mhm,
You know what
mhm.
I
I
mean?
would say the left would say the Proud Boys.
Right.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
what does that
yeah.
mean?
But
The Proud Boys? Because that's what's like a Ku Klux Klan racial white supremacist organization. Is that what they are?
What are the Proud Boys?
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I okay, my opinion, and granted, I've never been to a meeting or anything, but it seemed like it was something that was a joke that all of a sudden gained traction, and then people that were leaders among some of them took it to the extreme of their extreme views.
Right.
Because as far as I understand, the Proud Boys, that's why it's even called that, started out as almost like a joke. And then
Like
and
the whole
this,
Bernie Bros thing. Remember that? When they tried to
yes.
slander Bernie Sanders by saying, "Oh, people who support Bernie Sanders are misogynists. Look at all these Bernie Bros," and then screwed Bernie over in the media like that.
Yeah, that's to me, that's what I would think people that are on the left would think extreme right are people
Mhm.
that are like those guys. But I don't really know anybody that wants to dress in those shirts and you know what I mean? Like I think most human beings really don't even understand what's going on. Is if
Mhm.
you really want me to think, because
Yeah, that's for true.
every
Yeah.
yeah, most family. If you have a family, I don't think most families like that are into politics the way at least the three of us are, where we're kind of paying attention on a daily basis. I think maybe they hear little bits on the news and stuff, but they have no idea. I think that's why there's so many strong viewpoints on like Gaza or something, where you could tell the person doesn't really know much about what's even going on, yet
Hmm.
has such a strong viewpoint that you would
Yep.
think that they like grew up there or something.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. There is that sort of extreme views on stuff that
But we've
people
seen it happen a
don't know
lot over
enough
the last
about.
4 years. You know, it changes from topic to topic, right? And it started off, right? I suppose it was before the COVID, but that's where it really kicked off and you could notice this shit happening. Where,
Yeah.
you know, with the COVID via the masks, people wearing masks. Oh, you have to wear a fucking mask because these people felt like heroes. Like this person who's never really had any friends, doesn't have much character, you know, and always wants the virtue signal. Now they've got a way where the whole lot of society agrees with them. Wear a mask, otherwise you fucking putting people at risk. Put your mask on, and they managed to go around and act childish, telling people what to do and have support for it from society. And since then, we've had this huge uprise in virtue signalers who are just trying to stand up on behalf of everybody else. And that's a big problem. You know, it started with the COVID thing, and then we had the Ukraine war kicked off, so they suddenly become experts in geopolitics. You know, so many different things have been happening. You know, what was after that? Then we got the Israel Hamas kickoff. They become experts in in war in the Middle East. And what was the next one? I mean, because there's been just numerous things where they pick a side and run with it, you know, and they
Yeah, I
don't
think that's
do their own research. It's just what they're told, and they become
uh,
experts in all these, like the Trump tariffs. Everybody's now a fucking economist and know what they're talking about. No, you don't know what you're talking about. It's far too complex for ordinary people. People go to university for many years to understand what the fuck is going on here. So don't pretend like you know what you're talking about. None of us do, you know. But it just frustrates me how all of these people do go on like they do know what they're talking about. You know what I mean?
it's like everyone goes, no, you're definitely wrong because of what my side think, and you're definitely
Yeah.
wrong because of what my side think, rather than just discussing it with each other on a normal basis and making a conclusion after the end of a discussion. They're sort of shouting at each other on the extreme
Mm-hmm.
left and right. For you. I mean, there are a lot of people who are more in the centre who want to discuss it, but because they've taken like such a far extreme side on the left, I'm not sure what right wing is anymore, to be honest. If you know what I mean, I know what
Mm-hmm.
right wing is because right wing's like the proper supremacy, like side of things, like Nazi sort of supremacy, or the pure white side of supremacy, or the sort of wanting to bomb people sort of side of things for their political views and shit. It's like, well, no, that isn't fucking right, is it? You pricks. Like, that's what discussion's for. That's what the Greeks invented the political ring for, if you get what I mean. To stand there amongst the steps and stand there and have your view. Everyone did discuss your view and then maybe walk away and have an opinion on it, if you know what I mean. And that's about as far as you go. If you shout at each other in the political ring, if you know what I mean, and then have a consensus in that way. People are going far too far, and like you say, because of Tesla being firebombed, that's because that's a political terrorist attack, isn't it? It's like, rather than discussing it normally online, they've gone to the extreme of having to start doing this side of things, and I think that's where the problem is. So I don't know what right wing is anymore, because everything the far left seem to push is, even normal issues seem to be called right wing. Like saying Trump is a Nazi and Hitler is like, what the fuck? Did you not know what Hitler had done, you fucking arseholes, cunts, what we went through because of him? Trump isn't got nothing near that fucking cunt, fucking arsehole. Like, see what my fucking family went through for that shit, fucking arseholes.
London went through the shit.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm from fucking East London, you cunts. We fucking had, what my nan and granddad went through was fucking horrific. So that's one thing that does upset me. They need to fucking speak to these fucking army people and all that generation, which they're all fucking dead now, so they don't fucking know. And that's the problem. If you know what I mean? They've been lied to about this shit and don't fucking know what Hitler fucking was and what he done. You know what I mean? Now you're a Trump, and now to compare like Trump to him, it's like it's a fucking farce, and that's why people like me have gone, fuck you, you can fuck off, sort of thing. It is that simple. Yeah. When you go to that extreme, then you're gonna make us go, just fuck you. We're not listening to your views anymore because you are not fucking normal. Yeah,
but all of these kind of words have lost their power, like calling
somebody,
calling them fascist, calling them racist, calling them homophobic. It's like, whatever. It's like, it's lost the power. It's lost a shitload of its power anyway, just because people use it for no
words have
reason.
no meaning no more, almost sort of anymore. They've like eradicated what Shakespeare started, if you know what I mean, with his literacy genius, if you know what I mean. And then everyone created great, magnificent stories from there, and that's how English become what we speak today. Yeah, it's from that. It's from and we seem to have lost what words have meaning because he created new words that have true meaning. Yeah, and then that's how English really become, because our words had true meaning, and that's why everything written in law around the world is in English, because it has true meaning. And to change true meaning of a word completely obliterates us as a species, almost, I think. And that's where that's what the left are almost pushing, what the true meaning of things. And that's sort of it drives people like me bonkers, because I ain't like left or right, if you know what I mean. I've just survived, almost died 1,000 times because of what society makes you forced to live like when you're alone, if you know what I mean. So it's like I've everything political issue I've been affected by, because it's affected every part of my life, if you know what I mean. So it's like from the war, from when I was young for a while, I went through, my parents, even what I listened to, what my grandparents went through. The war was horrific, some of their stories. Watching your granddad break down because of what he had to do, if you know what I mean. It's just, it is fucking horrific. And then people want to ignore our true experience of life and everyone else's to then change what that is. And it's like, this is why people like me have now gone to the point of, we ain't fucking listening to you anymore, because you've gone too far, if you know what I mean. It's gone too far left, it's gone extreme. There is like that's what gets me, pisses me off with all this stuff. We've lost what's going on, if you know what I mean.
People just need to be more skeptical of the information they're receiving, whether it's on the left, whether it's on the right, whether you agree with it or disagree with it. You have to be skeptical of all the information you receive and try and just critically think about everything, because they're all lying to us in some way. None of us know what the truth is.
It's everyone marching on the streets for all the time for the same causes over and over again. It's like the governments don't want to listen to you. It's like why are you interrupting everyone's lives all the time? Why can't you just like be a bit more normal, if you know what I mean? It's like we're pushing everyone to the extreme far side of things all the time now, if you know what I mean. There is no discussion anymore with some people.
That's it, just straight to kick off.
It's gone that it's just ludicrous. I don't know, it's hard to fucking say what is wrong, what is right wing now.
I think we're all kind of agreeing here, but the when we're talking about who is more fried, the far left seem to be a lot more fried at this point.
Totally.
They have less basis in reality. I mean, because the far right are crazy fuckers too. These people are just highly racist, highly homophobic. Man.
If you go to the far right, what the far right actually are is like sort of like the Ku Klux Klan is where I thought they were. If you know what I mean, it's like that is fucking extreme, man. It's like fuck you, get your shotguns out, shoot them motherfuckers. Like fuck off. Don't need weird.
You know that was founded by a Democrat.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, people don't understand it. Like Biden went to and give the eulogy to the dude's funeral when the leader died. It's like, what? Hello?
Yeah.
Like, do you think he's
It's
done
crazy,
that
isn't
for a
it?
reason? Yeah.
Them pieces of history get forgotten.
Yeah, they get
which,
forgotten.
You know,
yeah.
in the American Civil War, when it was Republicans versus Democrats and shit, who was
It's like
who was the party that was fighting to free the slaves? And people would be like, "Oh, it's the Democrats." Of course, it was Democrats. Like, no, you are incorrect. It was the Republicans. The Democrats wanted to keep slavery legal.
Who was it? Was paying reparations for slavery because they freed the world of it. Was the English, because up to about 1995, so me and even you, Macca, we would have, our tax money would have paid towards the freedom.
And I wasn't paying tax in 1995. How old do you think I am?
I don't know, maybe. but okay, well I was so I've actually my money has actually gone to pay off, like I'll give reparations because our army and our families died for that. We paid like a large percent of our fucking budget to do it, if you know what I mean. And they want to forget that part, that there isn't slavery now. Well, there still is, but there isn't slavery what they're complaining
More slaves
about
now
because of us.
exist in the world than existed in the
exactly. They're not complaining about what's going on in Africa with the French using my kids for mining and all the other stuff going on now.
Not complaining what's going on in China.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not complaining
Making
about
their clothes. Yeah, all the clothes and like Chinese products, plastic products they're shipping over, being made by sort of basically just slaves, in industrial slaves. Like, want to forget about that. They still want to.
Did you guys see what
click
happened
on
with
Temu.
that?
No, what happened?
Chinese manufacturer came out and said that they've been making Louis Vuitton bags, Hermes bags. I mean, this is a huge thing because it could potentially crush an entire industry. And I thought it was pretty funny.
It needs to, because the clothing industry is one of the biggest polluters on this fucking planet, and that's what gets me with the left wing. They don't go on about it. And like all this like other sort of like Just Stop Oil, which is far left extremist stuff. They don't want to mention cannabis and hemp use at all. Like, so it's.
Do you guys know what Hermes? Like, do you know what that is?
No, we don't actually. Is it some sort of branded bullshit? That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, that's what. The reason I'm bringing it up is because it's like the quintessential like rich lady shit, and the reality is that it's being made in China. They ship it to France or Italy, wherever, Spain, kind of the more higher end countries where they can put a markup. They put the logo on the back. Correct.
They sew a logo and label on. Yeah.
I thought it was real funny, man, because there's
it's like white label stuff, so it's pre-made to order. Then they send it to you, then you stick your label on it and sell it under your brand, like a lot of people do with seeds and shit. Really.
Yeah. So Hermes makes a bag called the Birkin bag, and that bag is like the holy grail for women that give a shit about that. And the bag costs around $1,200 to $1,500 depending on materials to make it. And they sell it for like $38,000, $40,000, $50,000.
Fuck.
So now these people are unbelievably pissed off.
Shit, I didn't notice that much.
Yeah, that's stupid money.
Yeah, I was thinking like $1,500 for like their high end shoes, like $500 to $1,500 is like a reasonable price. But like when you're talking like 20, 30, 40 grand, that's a bit
tens of thousands. That's crazy.
Tens of thousands is crazy. No wonder they're getting feeling ripped off because they fucking are.
But that's the free market, man. If people are going to pay that money
free
for
market,
it,
man.
then
Yeah, exactly.
it's just the way it is. That's up to them. That's their money.
That's their money.
That's
Yeah,
up to them.
it's their own.
It just
it's
shows
their
you
own
that
fault.
almost nothing's real anymore. Like it's all a facade. Yeah, luxury and all that.
But if they demanded their stuff was like made from hemp from a local farm that grew it, then they'd get some high quality stuff. So, but it's their own fault. So, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They've probably got the money to buy their own hemp farm and start it and to make their own clothes products, but they can't be bothered. So I'm like, well, so you're all chatting shit. Like,
that's it. None of it's real. None of it's
shit.
real anyway. It's just the people will see it as being, oh, that's that special kind of bag. Cool, you must be well off. That's it. It's just the illusion. You know, there is no spoon, man.
Yeah, innit? Hey, kids, do you like Minecraft? Like,
hey, Minecraft's. You saying about Minecraft, Viking?
Yeah, man. Exactly.
Jesus,
Roblox and all that as well, innit? It's like everything's built for
Minecraft's
addictive and
Minecraft's the shit. Viking, you take
to
that
brainwash
back.
everyone. But still, it's like it is. We don't know what the extremes are anymore as well sometimes because everything's getting more extreme each week almost. Each
Yeah.
month,
Yeah, like
definitely. It's
normal
like-
things are extreme to some people.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's the thing. It's like, well, just something normal is extreme. Yeah, even video games are now have reached the level of being left and right wing and political, and it's like,
Yeah.
whoa. It's like even video games now have sort of what stuff woke things in it, and they're arguing over that sort of level of stuff, and it's like, where are we going,
know-
man?
You know what video game that's not woke is officially coming out that I read today? The only
Yeah,
game I
GTA
Grand
6.
Six, yeah,
see that?
delayed again. It's
that
like
game is fun.
it's like 9 years in it. They've been playing GTA 5 or something now.
I think it's more like 12 or something. I don't know. It's ridiculous.
I
It
think
could be
it's
12, yeah. I don't know, but it's just too long, isn't it? Really.
I told my
But the
wife
thing
when
is-
that game comes out, I am buying a brand new TV and a brand new whatever console because I've been waiting for this shit since I was, I believe, in college. Maybe a little bit.
It's crazy, isn't it? Well,
Yeah.
my friend has been going on as well. He's going to get a PlayStation 5 so he can play GTA 6 when it comes out. And I was like, bro, that game is not coming out this year. That's going to be mid next year, maybe even the end of next year. You know, no, it's not going to happen in 2025. Yeah, that's what they're saying now. Let's see. Let's see what happens. I don't even know if it's going to come out then.
Did you see that Steam are going to release a console with all their stuff on it?
What?
Yeah.
How much is that console going to cost, though?
Not as much as you think either. I think it's going to be like reasonable price as well, but it's
Because PC gaming is the best gaming.
yeah, but it's
You
gonna
know?
So Steam are bringing out a console. They're gonna start doing console wars because they've had enough of all the gaming industry taking the piss out of the consumer. I think with all the microtransactions and shit because they're banning a lot of that stuff. I think they putting a lot
because that's why GTA is still going. It's because of all the microtransactions in it.
Yeah,
You know, they're still making money off it, and I don't get it. It's realistically, why even make GTA 6? Why not just release GTA 5 again with updated skins so the graphics are more realistic? Because that's essentially what they're going to do. They're going to get GTA 5 and put it in a new city with better graphics. That's what they're going to do. Why not just add add-ons to it? Because it's an online game now. Nobody plays GTA unless it's online.
They're claiming that. Remember in GTA 5 when you could go around, but you couldn't go into all the buildings?
Yeah.
They're claiming that that's what's taking so long is now you can go in all the buildings.
But this is it. Why not just do that on GTA 5?
I don't think it has the...
No, but upgrade it, you know, because it's GTA 5 online. Nobody's playing the disc version of GTA anymore. They just use whatever software to get onto the online servers and play from there. So why not just increase the capacity of the servers? Like there's a big update. There's updates coming all the time to GTA.
maybe that's what they're having the problem with is updating the servers and trying to upgrade it all.
Maybe it's too big, isn't it? Yeah,
yeah. That's what I think. I think they've made it too big, and they've had an issue of the game being too big,
and the fact that there's like in real life as well, you know, the whole wealth disparity thing where if somebody starts playing GTA today, somebody's like, I'm going to give this GTA a turn. They're going to have no money and shit. But there's people who've been playing it for 10 years who have everything and all the weapons and all the upgrades. And it's not fair playing field. You know what I mean? It's like them players are much more to an advantage if they get into gunfights and things like that. So that needs to be bear in mind. If you start a new one, if you start GTA 6 on a new server, then everybody starts from fresh. But that's going to change after a year. You know what I mean? There's going to be somebody out there with loads of shit, and then there's going to be other people out there with nothing. I would have thought the better decision was just to improve GTA 5 online rather than releasing a 6, because GTA 5 online is already huge. No, as a game.
Yeah, I think they're hoping everyone will just automatically switch over. They're probably maybe trying. I'm not sure what the people going to do with their accounts and stuff though. If you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously, like they've got all the guns and that. But if you're a hardcore fan, you won't care about your old account. You know it's dying anyway. If you know what I mean, you should accept that. That's part of gaming.
I care about my account. On my GTA
you don't
account.
Count, though.
Over the years, I've spent $150 million on shit.
Yeah, well, That's your
Like
problem.
that's
innit?
a lot of GTA bucks, man. And I've got everything. I've got all the businesses. I've got all the good cars. I've got all the helicopters, all the planes, all the weapons, all the upgrades. I've got everything.
Well, you can go and do it again on number 6, can't you? And have some
Yeah, but it takes
fun
ages, bro.
getting it. Yeah, I know,
Then
but
you have to
that's
figure
the
out the
fun of the
bug,
game.
another Bogdan glitch to make all the money again. You know?
But that's what I think the problem is people don't want to do the hours to get the rewards. They just want to buy it all now, if you know what I mean. They want to
Yeah,
buy
and
it
that's
up,
gonna
yeah.
that's gonna be the problem with GTA 6. There's gonna be some rich motherfucker out there who's just gonna buy up all the shit. And on the first day, they're gonna have everything because they have the money to.
Soros. That's the Soros player.
That's right. That's him.
George Soros' son.
Yeah. You know,
That
just think
kid's
about that. You
creepy,
can just
man.
throw away
You seen that
fucking
kid talk?
$5,000. No, I've never seen him.
Oh man, he's starting to really flex. He's gonna be he's gonna be something, I think. I mean, his dad must have groomed him.
Is the next groomer, is he? Like being
He's the next villain, I think. He
yeah,
looks
that's what I
like
mean.
the
James
nerdy
Bond one, the James Bond villain, is he?
villain. Yeah, man. It's like, what the fuck? How do these people even exist? I guess, you know.
Because
It's
their money
weird.
and family, their family and their money's been around for centuries. If you know what I mean, it's
All right,
how the
but
world works.
They live in a
there's
completely
all
different
these people
reality
that
to us.
have
Yeah.
that kind of money, and they don't want to like enslave humanity or
But
use their money to influence
They're people are
chaos.
born into something and they have to fulfill their role. That's your role. If you know what I mean, you have no choice. That is what you're groomed for, and that's all you know because that's your role. So
I
you've
think
been-
Soros left the bricks around the cities back in back with the George
Yeah,
Floyd
yeah.
protests.
Well, I don't think he done it
Allegedly.
personally, allegedly, but like because I think
Yes.
I think I think
Yes.
yeah. I'm not sure if he'd be able to drive around the van and use the crane, operate the crane properly to drop them off. But like, I know what
No,
you
I
mean.
mean, he
His
paid-
money,
he paid
his
for that stuff.
his money's used to do to cause a lot of trouble. Like is all the alleged stuff around the world. Yeah, but then it's like if it is or if it isn't, it's always someone's money from the same sort of like the banking cartels in like well, it's the Square Mile in London, which is where it all started from, really, and that's where all the money really runs through around the world. So it's whoever's connected to that is what does everything. Pretty much, in my opinion, that is. But that's I think it's what can we do? If you know what I mean, we ain't gonna ever have that money. If you know what I mean, yeah. So we just got to rely on the people who have maybe got to that end of things and tried to make a change, which is why people have put a lot of faith, I suppose, in Musk and Trump because they have a lot of money to influence and they seem to be doing some good stuff. If you know what I mean, what people for humanity and us as a whole, because especially with like the recent geoengineering stuff being announced and all of that. So like and blocking out the sun in the UK at the same time as putting up solar panels. So it's like
You heard about this shit, Brian?
Blocking out the sun? How are you
yeah.
gonna do
So
Yeah.
well, so we want to like put particles in the sky to block to reflect the sun away. Like some geoengineering chemtrail shit, which they obviously said don't happen. But we're also putting solar panels all over farmland everywhere as well. So like
I can assure you chemtrails are real. They spray that shit
yeah,
all over
but
America.
the UK government have just officially announced that they are going to be doing it. Right, so it's official now. We're going to have chemtrails,
They
even though
said,
they are
yo,
doing
we're
it.
spraying this shit.
Yeah. They just said they're going to spray shit into the sky. Thank you, government, for keeping us safe from nasty
Yeah.
sun rays.
Isn't it? Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, government.
And for taking over our farmland and putting up solar panels, because
Yeah.
that makes a
Thank
lot
you.
of sense.
Thank
that
you,
does.
government.
Creating
Thank you.
cloud just for the panels. So it's like
They're trying to tell the people of. They're trying to tell you guys that if you don't block out the sun, what's gonna happen?
But it's stuff like global warming, isn't it?
yeah, we're gonna give off like it's all like CO2
That's the whole
stuff,
thing.
isn't it?
Is global warming.
Global
mate,
warming,
it-
climate
it-
change and all
It
that.
makes no fucking sense at all. It's absolutely ridiculous. And even if this did work, the UK is like what 1% of the Earth's surface. what do you really think is gonna fucking happen here? You know, oh, the UK has reflected all this fucking sunlight. Now the Earth's cooled down a degree. We're gonna be okay.
Yeah,
but-
China. Why China's pump has
Yeah.
really no EPA. anything of real.
But they're saying,
Mhm.
but we ruled the world once, so everyone ever obviously is going to follow us, like into the new industrial revolution.
Ridiculous.
Yeah,
And Brian brought up a good point there, which I want to fucking come back to here is, and the Chinese are just carrying on doing their thing. Now, do you think, Yuri Bezmenov? Ever heard of that guy?
yeah.
A Russian guy. Yeah, that's right. A Russian guy from back in the 70s who explained that Russia are going to just play the long game and, just infiltrate the universities and the educational departments and slowly break down the society of the USA. So it just fights against itself in a civil war, and it slows down its production because
Production,
all this, if you give them all this climate change pollution shit, then they'll start slowing down what they're doing. The Chinese and the Russians are just pumping ahead full steam. You got this shit with like cloning, which the shit that the USA can't do. I bet China's doing it. You've got CRISPR, the gene editing technology, and there's laws and rules that the West have put in place to make sure that they don't take it too far. But China's doing it, and that's just a small example of many different things that the West have done the right thing and been like, we can't fuck around too much with this. This is some dodgy shit. But China and Russia, they don't care. They're just running with it, man. They got clones, they got super soldiers, they got technology which like stem cell technology, for example. That's another one. In how many different ways can stem cells potentially help people? But research with it is essentially banned in the West. But China's working on it because they're not bound by the same rules. So is it that these motherfuckers are just breaking down our societies from the inside so they can just run off and get the lead by is it part of their long game warfare?
Makes total sense.
It does.
That's what you do.
If we fight against each other, we ain't fighting against them. Why should they get their army together to go and fight Europe and the USA when if they can just give them the certain amount of information over 20, 30 years and break down their societies from the inside, then they were asked to be invaded rather than fight against it.
Again, like the China-Russia thing, like Russia, like it's got a lot of resources, and because it's selling gas off everywhere. So, but China, it relies on export of shit, really. If you know what I mean, like all the amount of crap we buy off China is just unbelievable. Like, so that they rely on mass, like you're saying, all the high-end bags made in China, everything's like made in China. Like all the crap we buy, like most of it comes from China now, and so it's like. Their economy would collapse if we stopped started producing stuff in our own countries again. So it's like that's what they are totally scared of as well. So again, they want the breakdown and us to rely on like them pumping more crap for us to just buy. If you know what I mean, more stupid plastic, more ornaments or sort of new handbags and shoes and hair braids and everything, hair extensions and all of this crap. Fake eyelashes,
butt hair extensions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know, but they probably buy them.
To go on the plug, innit?
Yeah.
Look at me, I'm a unicorn.
There you go. Mickey's figured it out. They winner.
That's right.
Chicken dinner, like left wing chicken dinner.
To come back to like the theme of this talk today, I really do think that humanity is pretty lucky, regardless how you feel about certain people in society. But I do think that we could have gone down a really dark road already. I don't think that means that the people that were trying to do that have stopped. I just think that there might be a potentially now 12-year gap where, because I don't, in my opinion, I don't see anybody being able to beat whoever runs after Trump.
Not right now. We'll see what happens in a few years.
Well,
Newsom could do it, man. I think Newsom could do it, and he's changing his whole public image right now. He's got that podcast up and running, and I think in a couple of years' time, Newsom might even have a chance at doing a good job. Right now, he's the only person that I can think of, other than Michelle Obama, because she's already got, the name recognition.
Not AOC, then.
Oh, no.
AOC?
You know,
Is that what you said?
Bro, there was a time when I thought that was a good idea. I thought, I can't wait till AOC is over 35 so she can run president. She'll get fucking shit sorted. But, my perspective has changed so much over the last 5 years about all of this shit. And I realized how fucking stupid that idea is.
Yeah.
I
You
just think,
you believe that stuff until 5 years ago?
yeah, about 5 years ago, I think. Yeah.
Wow, man, I did not know that.
I know,
That's-
right? Fuck.
That's a
COVID helped
very-
swing him a lot as well.
Well, I mean, there you go. It kind of shows if you start to learn personal things, and that's obviously your opinion. But if you're open to learning about new things and new ideas, then sometimes you change things in life. And I wonder why lately they've acted like if you learn about something and then you want to change your opinion, that somehow you're a piece of shit.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
or
totally.
debating. Yeah,
Mhm.
like you guys kind of started at the beginning. Life used to be more about like debate, and then we'd kind of laugh about it and move on. It wasn't like,
yeah.
oh my God, you believe this, so now I hate you and your children.
It's
And
almost
it feels that way.
it's like
Mhm.
if someone has to change their mind instantly as well. It's like, no, you debate, you go away, you think about it for a bit, you come back, debate again because you thought about it for a bit, go away, and then if you do that, repeat that process, eventually you have come up with some sort of centre ground in your own mind of what's real, if you know what I mean, because you've debated enough. And I think that's the issue as well, is people are not debating on either
Yeah.
side enough. Like they're
And
having a
this is
fight.
another
and-
left wing problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
yeah.
that I have noticed, I've got friends across the whole political spectrum, far right, far left, everything in fucking between, right? But if I have a discussion, because I like I said, I'm quite centrist, I would see myself as quite centrist, but I would be labeled as leaning right by the majority of people because it's just the way, it's put across. But I have discussions like this all the time with people, and the only people I have lost friendships with who don't talk to me anymore are people on the far left. Even center left, they're still willing to have the conversation. They'll think differently of you, but they'll still talk to you. They'll still be your friends. But those on the far left, if you don't agree with what they say, they cut you out of their life. You mean nothing to them now. You can't even have a discussion with them. And just, you agree with 95% of everything, but that small 5% which you disagree with, and maybe not even disagree with, just have a slightly different perspective. That's enough. Can't be friends with you. You can't challenge my fucking narrative. I've been told this by the mainstream media, not allowed to listen to anything else, won't discuss it. That's it. We're not friends anymore. And they just stop talking to you. And that's fucking ridiculous. I've seen that from the left more than anything else. No, nobody on the right's doing that. People on the right, they'll be like, oh, well, yeah, that's the way you think. That's cool. No problem. And then you just carry on. It's like my friend, I've got a friend right now who's quite left leaning, and we have mean conversations sometimes, man. And, they get deep, they get offensive, but we're still fucking friends. You know what I mean? But just about, he's nearly broke a few times, but it doesn't bother me because, like I say, I used to be on that side. So I understand where he's coming from. I understand why he thinks the way that he does, and I empathize with it. And I know that he's just not seeing the same information that I'm getting. He's not looking into even though he thinks that he looks into it more than I do. There's no way that he does. You know what I mean? He was talking about the media networks he listens to, and it's all left-leaning stuff. He listens to no right-leaning. And if I mention any right-leaning, he's like, who's that? So he's not listening to it all, Sorry, Brian.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt. From your viewpoint, Mackie, like what made you
Flip?
you kind of blew my mind with like, so what was it, something like you started to get a little bit older and you started to see things a little
No,
bit
right. I'll
differently, or-
explain, because there's a few
Okay.
things that fucking triggered me, but there's some specific things that I could see that started it. And the Kyle Rittenhouse trial is one of the huge ones. I used to watch a lot of Young Turks back then, the YouTube news network, which are left leaning, and other networks like that as well. And they would just constantly go, this white supremacist, this Kyle Rittenhouse, little shit running around with a gun, just shooting people for no fucking reason, white supremacist, racist. And I was like, yeah, this fucker, he needs to be locked up for a long time. It's like, oh, his trial's on. You should watch his trial. And, I had some free time around then. So I was like, I'm going to watch this trial. I'm going to see this motherfucker get sent. And I watched the whole trial. I seen all of the evidence presented. And so much was missed out. So they were calling him a white supremacist. He shot 2 white guys. They're saying that he crossed the state lines with his rifle. And it's like, yeah, but he was legally in possession of that rifle. And when they say cross state lines, it's not like he traveled 200 miles to cross the state. He lived a mile. His mom and dad were separated, and his mom lived a mile over the border, and his dad lived a mile over the other border, just 2 miles in between each other. But the border was in between. So he went from his
I
mom's
remember
house
that.
to his dad's house. And it's like, these points fucking matter. Why have they left it out? Why have they decided to half inform me so I line up with that fucking narrative, even though it's incorrect? And I was like, this is fucked. What else are they doing this to? You know what I mean? Why are they holding back important pieces of information so I can make up my fucking mind with my own mind rather than them telling me what to think?
They're
And I
not being
thought, what else-
informative.
That's right. They're not informing me. They're guiding me in the direction of their agenda. And that's what I realized with the Carl Rittenhouse trial. And it's like since 9/11, I've been skeptical of what the fucking mainstream media have to say. But then the COVID thing happened. You know, there's the Carl Rittenhouse COVID thing happened. And then you could just see how much bullshit was going on with the media. They were lying to us. They were covering things up. They were not explaining things like to the full extent. There was missing things out. Then you had the January 6th shit, which I was pissed off about. Like, January 6th, this fucking, he tried to do an insurrection. And then I saw CNN release a fucking clip. I'm sorry, I'm going on for a while. But anyway, the fucking CNN released a clip of Trump saying, we're going to march to the Capitol. Shut it dead. That's it. That was the end of what Trump had to say there. And then they went there and they kicked off and all this shit. And then I watched the same clip, but in full context. I watched the whole thing. He had a 3-hour thing on his Twitter page before he was banned. And that same clip, it says, we're going to march peacefully and patriotically. And I'm like, hold on for a second. No, it might not be right what happened on January 6th. Fine. Everybody's got their opinions with that. But we can clearly see that this particular news network had edited that clip at the point where he says, where we're going to march peacefully and patriotically, which are important fucking words in a sentence when they're trying to say he encouraged a violent uprising, right? Why are they cutting that out? Why have they taken that out? It's clear they are doing this shit so everybody thinks in a particular way that makes
Lying
you
about
follow
Joe Rogan.
their agenda. You know, and not just lying, just leaving out facts, embellishing facts, you know, just making things fit their narrative. They're not informing us. Like you say with the Joe Rogan thing, putting a green tint on it to make him look extra fucking ill when he was over it in a couple of days. Bullshit. And when people start seeing that, they need to consider how much trust they have in the media, you know?
Orange Man bad and all that as well.
And did you see that?
Yeah.
I've seen a clip recently, one from Fox News, one from CNN. Same clip, Donald Trump. One of them, Donald Trump looked just a little bit orange because let's face it, he is a little bit orange. But the CNN, they had hyped that fucking contrast up, man. This guy was glowing orange completely differently. And again, why are they doing that? Is that presenting the fucking news, is it? Why are you editing the footage to make Trump look more orange? Why are you doing that? That doesn't inform anybody. You're just trying to stir up bullshit, trying to push people in a particular direction. And that's not fucking good enough, man. And,
That's why I think
shit like that needs to be fixed. You can't let the media do shit like that.
That's why I think they're pushing the agenda, because they seem to be splitting groups down the centre all the time and trying to cause division to then, to hide what they're really doing with all the laws. But I think Trump coming in and changing stuff has made a big, like Doge as well. People going crazy about you saving money and rooting out corruption and giving social security payments to dead people, and they're going, oh, you can't do this, you have all our data. It's like, what? Fucking someone's gonna have all your data. Yeah, what are you talking about? Oh, you weren't moaning about the people before had all the data.
That's
And
right,
then-
but they've
and
been
then
told to now, aren't they?
Yeah,
they've been told
exactly,
to.
yeah.
It's like the classic one
It's like,
is where people
fucking
go on about Trump in his first term and the deportation and shit. People are like, he was deporting people all the time, dude. And it's like, you ask them in history, who is the American president who has deported the most amount of people?
Obama.
Exactly, it's fucking Obama. But they don't. Where
and
was your
with no-
outrage when
yeah,
Obama was doing worse than what Trump is doing?
with
You know
no
what I
due
mean? There was
process
not.
as well. Innit? It's like,
Who built them fucking cages? They go on like it was Trump. Now, I'm not agreeing. I'm not saying whether the fucking cages are right and wrong. I just want to try and point out the hypocrisy here, that people get more upset with Trump and say nothing about what happened with Obama because they don't push that shit in the media. They don't tell you about what Obama did and how much worse it was than Trump. They just tell you what Trump did and how bad Trump is because they want you to fucking hate Trump. You know what I mean? And when people start to see this,
apparently
that's what makes the difference. You know?
They're going to try and look hard, and they're creating a group to trace the 300,000 children that went missing crossing the border under Biden.
Good.
That shit's creepy, dude.
When you see that figure, you're like,
yeah.
You have to read it. You have to read it again. You're like, what? How many children went missing? Like they're unaccounted for. Like there's just nothing of them. Like, what? You like the actual fuck. There is no words, is there? You're like. They can't say nothing about the border when shit like that goes on.
I don't think
like,
most people would
God.
believe you, Billy.
No, but that's true though. It's like
it is. No, I agree 1,000% with what you're saying.
You're like,
it's so horrific that people be like, that's made up, dude.
Yeah, and you see as well with the whole border thing, because I was watching, I'm into American politics and I watch it a lot, man. I've been doing loads of fucking listening to Tom Hooman and he speak about his shit recently, and he brought up a good fucking point. He's like, the border crossings, the illegal border crossings down in Mexico are down 99.9% because it's gone from like 15,000 a day down to 100 or something. And he brought up this valid point that by estimated figures, around 30% of the people crossing the border, around 30% of the women crossing the border are sexually assaulted in some way on their journey. So by removing 15,000 people a day coming across the border, 30% of that's 5,000 people. Well, say 30% of that, and then the women, let's just say 1,500. Let's just go for the conservative estimate. Let's say 1,500 women every single day are no longer being sexually assaulted as they're crossing the border because Trump has made that not allowed to happen. People get killed on the fucking way. It's dangerous. So by making it harder to cross the border, people are discouraged from taking this journey and they're not risking their lives of being assaulted on the fucking way. So I think that's an important thing that needs to be taken into consideration. It's not like border crossings when people go through these journeys that it's all fucking easy. There's a nice road to follow. You can just skip on the way. No, they're bought in illegally via cartels, and it's dealing with organized crime, and a lot of people get hurt, and a lot of people get traumatized. And that needs to be considered.
They go on about the patriarchy and how we've like how dangerous it is to women and misogyny and all that, but then they're letting in crazy people, and then children be trafficked, and then women be assaulted, and also be like human trafficked as well. So it's like the hypocrisy on the left stretches so far, which is why I think people have had enough with it, because there is no left wing anymore. It's just extreme left. There is no left wing policies, if you know what I mean. It's like they're flown out the window, and I think that's the problem with normal, like Joe Rogan and you and lots of other people on the left, like a fucking RFK Jr. Like it's like Tulsi Gabbard, isn't it? You could. There's a long list of like even Musk as himself was like left wing, wasn't he? He wasn't like so. A long list of them have all just sort of left that side because you have no choice, because they've gone into there is no left wing. Even Bill Maher is sort of like started to distance himself, and he's like, shit, what can I do, man? I'm trying to be me still. It's like sit here and ignore the news and smoke weed. And that even he's forced to now look at what's really going on, because everyone are pointing out your views are stupid, mate. You're not actually looking at what's going on in the world. And he's like, I suppose I better get him properly informed again. And then like he's like, fuck, shit.
Hey, you guys want a fun side note?
Yeah, go on.
Do you know who Superhead is? Corinne Stephens?
No, we don't.
All right, this chick is giving head to every rap celebrity you've ever heard of in your life, right?
Okay, yeah, as you do.
Guess who dates her after all of that?
Drake.
Our boy Bill Maher.
Really?
No.
Bill Maher's been getting slurped up by the rap
hoe.
The hoey ho. Her nickname is Superhead because everybody knows how she gets down. So I thought that's a fun when he's on TV and he's looking all proper and everything.
Yeah.
He's actually pretty down dude, I guess, to be able to sit back.
So your comment to him would just be, how's Superhead?
Hell yeah. I bet he would get red as fuck because I don't think most
Yeah.
people know that.
Yeah, that'd be
Like,
funny.
he
he
do like
That's-
the bar,
dated.
you know?
He dated
Yeah,
that shit.
I still sort of like him. He is half funny, but at least he's now challenging in all the extreme views on the left.
because he did
now,
have a
he's like-
touch of TDS for a
Yeah.
while there.
I like him.
Yeah.
I think he's funny and stuff. He's
Yeah.
a lot of his viewpoints. I don't really agree
Yeah,
with,
don't
but-
Tell you
don't
what I
all,
used
yeah,
to like.
exactly.
So I tell you what I used to
You
like?
still listen
Stephen
to him
Colbert
anyway.
and John Oliver. I used to love them guys. He's like, oh, these guys are so fucking
That
funny.
guy's a
Now I can't bear
dick
to
rider.
watch them. God damn. Especially John Oliver. It's like, these guys are absolutely fucking tall. It's crazy how much my perspective has changed in the last 5 years, man.
Yeah, it blew me away when you said that earlier. I was like, wow, that's really not that long ago, you know?
He-
For...
No, it's really not.
He super headed you away, did he? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that is funny about him. It's just that's the thing, isn't it? In this left and right thing, it's like that's why I think the left are definitely more fried because they've gone to. There is only an extreme. All the left, normal, standard libertarian
yeah,
people
yeah.
are now sort of forced to like say, well, I'm definitely not right wing, but I'm definitely not with you. So, but like,
But like the extreme left, like we said
Where
earlier,
do I
it's
go
like,
now?
If you're not following 100% of what they do, you're a Nazi, you're a fascist. So even these
Yeah.
people who are left leaning, or proper lefties,
Yeah.
but they're not going to go that far to say men can have babies and you can suck a woman's cock. They're not going to go that far.
Whoa,
No.
whoa.
Well, that's what they're saying, bro. That's what they're saying.
No, I'm just saying, man. This is
yeah,
crazy.
man, that's crazy talk, man.
But you know what I mean? It's
the cucks in the chat would be rubbing their thighs at all of that talk now, wouldn't they?
Miss, your cock's bigger than mine.
But
Yeah.
that's right. but these people who are on the left on everything else, like their policies are on the economy, their policies on social economic factors. All of those are all left leaning. Everything's left except for that. But they're pushed right now. I mean, it's like you're right now, you're center, and it's like, okay, might as well just take a little step here into the left a little bit more, then, right? At least I belong to a fucking crowd. Then maybe that's how they feel. For me, I like to think I'm in the middle of everything because I just assess both sides and try and figure out what I think out of the
Yeah.
information about Afghanistan. I would think I'm center on everything. Just
It's
I can explain my arguments about everything. I don't know.
Logic and fact. You want to find what's
Yeah.
the logical fact of what's happening in every
Yeah.
situation, isn't it?
Take
What's
the emotion
science
out of it.
behind it. Yeah.
That's it. What's the fucking reality of this? Figure it
Yeah.
out without thinking, oh, but I feel bad. It's like, yes, but no matter what you do, somebody's always going to feel bad about something. Like the women in sports, for example. It's like, of course, you want these trans women to feel included, but by including a biological male into female sports, that's going to mean the females are going to lose out when they've trained for years to get to the top
Yeah.
of the
They're,
certain
they're never
position.
going to win.
And a trans woman wins a trophy. How unfair is that to them? So you want to try and be fair to everybody. But sometimes there's going to be somebody who loses out.
Yeah,
You know?
and like you say, sort of, I wanted to be a Premiership footballer, but I wasn't chosen, so I'm not. So I don't have the right to then barge my way into women's sport because of that reason. It's like it's like you might have been really good at basketball, but you're 5'8". You just ain't going to compete with some dude who's 6'7". Yeah, sorry, mate, but you're just not tall enough. It's like life is cruel that way. You're going to have to do something, become a coach or referee if you really love the sport. It's like there are other options. So it's like just take the other option. It's like don't fuck someone else's life just because you want to be a selfish motherfucker. Really,
Yeah, that's
So
how
that's
I
what I
see
see
it.
it as.
That's
yeah,
what it is.
yeah. Why are you
It's
ruining
like fine,
someone
you're
else?
trans, that's fine. That's up to you, but you can't go affecting on the, especially in the USA when
On
they
the
got
level.
these scholarships and shit as well.
Yeah,
in these
exactly.
sports to get into college, but that's been taken away from them.
Just
it's
destroyed
happening in
their
some
entire
cases.
life.
It's
Yeah,
not like it's happening
totally,
to everybody. I know it's a small percentage of the
No,
cases.
but
these things
even
are
one is
happening.
unfair. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah. Even
Mhm.
one is unfair. It's like, yep. So
Hey,
that's
you
where
guys ever
you have
had
to draw the
a-
line somewhere?
The way Billy was talking made me think of have you ever been around kids where you can lower the basketball goal and you can lower it to like 6 foot, 7 foot so that you could dunk? To me, that's like what it would be like if you left men's sports to go to women's sports. and
Yeah,
you're like
yeah.
a true athlete. It's like,
Yeah,
man, this
totally.
guy's unbelievable over here.
Yeah, innit? He's dunking left, right, and centre, like
Pushing little kids out of the way, hitting
yeah.
threes.
just
These
just
kids
running
are
through
telling
them. Like,
stories for the rest of their lives. Like, I saw this one guy play basketball before, and then
The media's
dunking
covering
everything.
it. Yeah, just hiding the fact. Oh man. That made me laugh.
Local man becomes
okay.
basketball player.
Another crazy thing I see with the American footballer, the black guy with that, where the selection, because he was he wasn't drafted early on. They say no, they're
Deion
racist because
Sanders'
he wasn't picked. They're like, I don't know, can't remember his name, but like, yeah, not being picked because he wasn't picked because he's not fucking good enough. Like,
His name's Deshaun Sanders.
that
That's
sounds like
Deion
the one.
Sanders' kid. And he wasn't picked because the NFL gave up on people with shitty attitudes after this dude
Exactly.
named Johnny Manziel. They
Exactly.
said no more of that bullshit.
He wasn't good enough in the attitude department, and he wasn't good enough to then try and adjust his attitude either, if you know what I mean. So,
Yeah,
like,
I think the NFL, if you're rich and you don't have the hunger to be in the NFL, you're not going to get the chance, dude.
but it is laughable to say like the NFL is fucking racist. It's like, what the fuck? How many black superstars and multi-millionaires are there with a fucking like NFL contract? It's like, what is it, 50, probably fucking almost 50%, I'd say, in it. It's like 50 white, 50 black, and fucking, or in a couple of percent Hispanic, really, and a few others thrown in. Because when I watch the American football, I see both sides of things. Big black guys, big white guys in defence, and fast white and black guys on the wings, like, and
I
a
hate the
black
way race
guy,
comes
a
into
white guy
everything
throwing a
nowadays.
ball, and it's like, it's just a sportsman throwing a ball. Can he throw the ball and can he run? And does he have a good attitude to be able to fucking implement that and fit in the team? Simple as. Like, do the statistics fit? Like the baseball team, the film about it, innit? They won the championship or got close to it or whatever it was because they just looked at the statistics of the player. They ignored everything else, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
They just threw it out the corner, like, and then because of that, they done well. It's like
Back in the 90s.
Yeah, it's like that's what marks, and that's where I think
Maybe the early
everyone's gone
2000s.
wrong. And the extreme left, and then just run with this like this side of the card things, like, and that's why normal people of the centrists have just gone like. Just got away from us, and I have to be called right wing now, then, because you've gone just crazy. Yeah,
that's what I don't like the most is when people call me far right, because I don't feel as if I'm far right, and sometimes I get called fucking phobic, and I'm not phobic. I got a gay kid. I don't talk about my personal life too much, but yeah, I got a gay kid. She's gay. She's got a girlfriend and shit. Doesn't fucking bother me. So it's not like I'm homophobic. I don't feel homophobic at all. I'm just worried about my freedom of speech. Yeah. What just sounds easier? Having a gay girl,
boyfriends.
Yeah, man, much easier. I don't have to worry about getting pregnant and shit. That's cool. Or maybe I do. Maybe I'm being transphobic now.
But also, I know what you mean. You don't have to worry about a man's violent side ever being on. That's a big worry for all people. Like whenever, even when like any wife, child, or anything is out on their own, that's always something you got to worry about. Some crazy man, just because women can't defend themselves. Same with the sports. We just overpower them. So it's like. It's just basic logic and fact, isn't it? It's always been that way, which is why women always look to men for protection, because that's the role, because it's the physical role which logic and science and nature has made us into what a great species we are, because we've sort of picked on women's best part, which is the women are great at picking berries and all that, because they see far more greens and colours. So that's when they look at bushes, they would see where all the food is. They would spot that far better than what a man would. But a man would see where the danger is, go and kill the lion, tiger, bear, whatever's in there. The woman would go and forage everything else. You'd both then cure the meat together with what you've got, then raise a family. It's like, and then she'd have different other knowledges as well. It's what I mean. That's how we become what we are
you
today.
Complement each other,
Yeah, we complemented each other so well. We built what we live in today, and we've lost that now. We've lost that complement of each other to then build the future. So that's.
I think it's somewhat we have, but it depends where you are.
No, that depends on where you are. But
like I said,
general,
the whole China-Russia
society,
thing, I don't think China and Russia are going through the same problems.
No, but they're going different problems themselves, aren't they? Russia, I think, slightly less than China, because China have such an industrial complex exporting so much to us, who are now stopping buying that off of them, if you know what I mean. Like, especially America going back into their production, which Trump is pushing, which they should do. Like, you should produce your own stuff in your own country and not rely on other countries. It's like it's bog standard survival of the people.
You know
It's
what?
like,
One of those things is China made like, out of 100 of the top medicines used in the United States are all made by China. So let's just say about a war kicks off between the two, just hypothetically, and that medicine stops because China's not going to supply medicine to its fucking enemy at that point, are they? So and then all these people lose out on medication. It's like for security reasons, there's some things that every country should make on their own.
yeah, energy and
You know what I mean?
energy,
So
food, and obviously medicine. Sort of them
Yeah.
three things. Yeah,
as
pretty
much as
much.
possible. You know, you shouldn't just sell it off to another country because they can make it for cheaper. It shouldn't be like that. There's some
Yeah.
things that have to be kept at home. Medicine is one of those. Energy is one of those. Transport
like-
is one of those. Healthcare is one of those.
So England and Scotland have had like obviously a bit of a history of war on that, but when we become
No, they haven't.
innovative
We've been
and-
friends for a long time, Billy.
Like, you know what I mean. But when we've had like, but when we have become proper friends and started to discuss, we've had the engineering and technology. We've come up as like how much percent of the world's stuff has been
Yeah, yeah.
between an English and Scottish and Welsh invention. Even the
You know,
Irish,
Scottish,
as well, if you know what I
you know,
mean. But
Scottish have
between
made
us-
so many things, man, and we can
Yeah.
just be saying, yeah, that's from the UK.
yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
wasn't the guy who invented the internet? Was that Tim Berners-Lee? Is that his name?
Yeah,
I think he was Scottish, right?
Possibly, yeah, as well. Yeah, but I mean, they have so much stuff, but on between us both, like we've invented so much, like it's crazy. Like there's like a little golden triangle in Europe where I think something like 70% of the world's inventions we use in modern day now. I've been through that, and it's like we're just ignoring and losing that side of things, and that's what I think that the interfighting has created, like that
Yeah.
side of was innovation is being lost because of that.
Yeah.
Musk is trying
I
to
think we
push
got-
innovation far, and that's what I think they have.
Yeah, yeah.
People have a problem with him as well. It's like, what? He's trying to
Man.
innovate. It's
I
in a-
really don't get the Elon hatred. I can understand
No.
the hatred of billionaires. Completely get
Yeah.
it. You know, the people
Yeah.
got a fuckload of money. You know, they've got to have tilted the system in some way to get there. You know, is it fair? Fuck knows. But we don't need to be hating on them. And Elon Musk seems to be just one of those guys who were just hated by the left because they've been told to by the mainstream media. Because when he bought Twitter, he became the mainstream media's main adversary. You know, he was gonna, because there was all involved. The whole because the media, the mainstream media, seems left leaning. It seems very supportive of the government who's in power. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Depending on what government it is, like the government in the UK, for example, the media in the UK definitely government friendly. There was local elections recently where the Fringe Party Reform won a fuckload of votes, and Labour lost a shitload of seats. The Conservative Party, which is like the Republicans, Democrats in the UK, got completely fucking wiped out. The Conservatives are nearly a dead
Obliterated.
party at this point.
they
But they're
got
not saying
like
anything.
500.
And I've seen them saying shit on the news like, oh, this is a really good night for Labour. It's a good learning opportunity for them. It's like, no, don't twist it. They were destroyed. But this government funded, essentially, news network, this BBC, just lies about it and is obviously in the pockets of the government. And we see that too much, man. The whole lot of the left-leaning media is there in cahoots with the government. You can't believe what they fucking say. I forgot where I was going with the whole idea of this, but the media's corrupt as fuck, man. You know?
I think the problem is everyone's had to go online to the independent broadcasters because they're the only ones who are trying to actually just discuss
Some
the truth
people.
in a normal.
Some
Not all of
people,
them,
though.
some people, but there is enough out there of them. I mean, there is a big like left and right sided, but who are actually willing to discuss left and right with each other. If you know what I mean. And it's good where they're getting sort of more together. The normal centrists are becoming more. No, we have to do something a bit more now to become sort of
And I
change
think
things
it's
in a
like,
normal
you
manner.
know,
So
like what happened with Trump in 2024, you know, won the election and shit. But it's been the case of there was a shitload of people against Trump in 2016 because the media was just so harsh against him for so long. But he won, and then for 4 years they slated him. And then 2020 came along, you know, and Joe Biden won. And slowly people have learned more and more about Trump, seeing how many stories were bullshit. And those who see it's bullshit, it's like the red pill analogy, like they use. You know, they're
Yeah,
getting red
totally.
pilled. Once they've seen it, they're done. That's it. They're
COVID
on the right
totally-
now.
totally is a big
COVID
part
did
of
so
it.
fucking many.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
there's all these little things going on all the time, and at some point, somebody sees something. There's still a few people are there lingering in the strong left party because I don't know why, because they haven't seen yet the bullshit. They haven't been taken the red pill, for lack of a better term, to see what actual fuck is going on here. They haven't done that yet. But when they do, they're stuck there, and that's why we're seeing more and more votes go right. Because it's not many people are going from the right to the left. You know what I mean? It's people seeing how fucking crazy the left is, and they're moving to the right. So that's why they're voted in that direction as well.
They've sort of got no choice in a way because they're it's like, well, what can I do? Because I don't agree with all what they're doing. These ain't really as far right as what the left is saying they are. So it's like it's one side or the other, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it almost leaves you with no choice to try and keep things on normal as logical and as sort of scientific as possible, which is what we used to be, like logic and science. Like,
Yeah.
everyone would want Mr. Spock in charge of your country because then everything would be running smoothly. Like, it just use logic and science on everything, and then done, sorted. Like, it's like we ignore that now.
I was just thinking earlier, just how crazy the world is now. Like we don't, if you could go back to the fucking early 90s,
1992.
I mean, you were there. I mean, you were all there, man. No internet, no phones. There was just the information that we got was all through that TV that was on a particular time of day, and then everything else was shit. I mean, it's so much of a different world that we're living in. With even the TVs we use are completely different now. The lights on shops completely different. Now we have these fucking phones. It's just the technology that we have. It's really easy to take it for granted until you can try and put yourself back into the position of the early 90s and what we didn't have compared to what we have now. The fact that people can listen to this, us chatting shit in random places around the world in real time, just like this, that was crazy to think about. Crazy. If you were back in the 90s, you thought about that, you'd be like, wow, that would be so cool. But we have it here now. We take it for granted. We don't appreciate how much of a crazy difference it makes to the world.
Yeah,
I think that's fucking cool as fuck.
You don't realise how far away the 90s was as well. Now you start counting the years, you're thinking, what do you mean it's 30 years ago? No, that ain't right.
No, so 10 years ago, 95.
Yeah, it's exactly. That's what I mean. It's only 10 years ago. Until you actually work it out with maths and logic, and you're like, fuck off. Like, 1990 was 35 years ago. You fucker.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And you're just thinking, I can't do it anymore. It's like, it just feels
noisy all the time, doesn't it?
Yeah. What has the world become at the minute? It's like, I know the internet obviously has made people sort of like shout at each other a little bit more, but it's like, it's not the internet's fault that the world's mad because it ain't the internet doing the actions. If you know what I mean. So there definitely wasn't this many crazy people in the 90s. If you know what I mean. So
No, there were, but they just didn't have access to
I suppose,
communicate with everybody.
Yeah, or they was put in institutes as well. Some of them. So
I heard a guy say, I can't remember who said it. It might be me, but I don't want to sound like a cunt. But it's essentially back in the 90s. If you said half the shit people are saying now, like men can have babies, you're gonna get beat up in the playground because you sound like a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? But now you can say it on the internet, and you'll get an echo chamber supporting what you're saying and cementing it. Like, oh, you are so right. You are so cool. You are so brave for saying. You are so brave for speaking out.
Right, mate, people are identifying of cats. If you identified a cat and started walking around and shitting in a litter box and licking yourself, you'd be put in an asylum and people would be giving you drugs.
That's incredibly phobic, Billy. That's incredibly phobic.
No, but that's what they used to do with people like that. At least it wasn't electrodes to the head like we used to do with actual nutters. But even people who walk around naked in the street, like even they're not even put into asylums anymore in America. You see it all over. People, like Brian would say, people were living in tents, defecating in streets on drugs all day.
Yeah,
being proper out of space. Like even them people used to be looked after in a way. If you know what I mean.
Is that because of a constitutional thing, Brian? Do you think with the whole cruel and unusual punishment and dual process, like they can't hold somebody unless there's a good reason for it, or they break a law?
Shut all the places down.
I think it's a newer, like way to get what we call, at least in Colorado, like the bolder type people to vote for you. And so you say these things like it sounds great. Hey, we're gonna help people on drugs, and we're gonna give them needles and all this kind of like. I mean, there's a lot of ideas out there for all this kind of stuff, um, but it doesn't work, man.
No,
And that's the
they need
sad
to
part.
they need to
Yeah.
regulate and legalise the drugs, so the drugs they're getting are all clean and 100% safe. They're giving they're just instead of giving the needles, they should be able to go to a centre, get all the like I'm saying, the foot for help for their health, housing, foot chiropody. It worked in London 100%. Like, if you know what I mean. So the safe needle disposal and shit like that worked on, and that's the problem. They just don't want to address and tackle the issues properly. You know what I mean? They just want to sort of throw some money at it, do a few things that just aid and abet what they're doing, and then don't really solve the issue. Just create more of a problem because people are then drawn to these areas because they're catering towards them. But it's still drug cartels which are making all the money, and so they're gonna have to like then thieve and to get the money for the drugs. Then so. It just then creates like a vicious circle. It's if it was tackled properly, then again the issue would be dealt with because it would be tackled properly. But they don't want to do it properly because they want, I think, just to cause that sort of deprivation, to keep people under power control, to vote for them more, to then to try and save them from the problems which they created anyway. If you know what I mean. And then they ask for more help from the government, for more powers, and for more control. Then eventually, then everything's digital and you can't go nowhere. You got to get in your predetermined car under security because everything outside the gate your community live in is chaos. So that's the sort of level we're getting to.
Jesus, you went off
But
on
it
one a
is,
bit
though.
there, Billy.
No, but it is though. If you lived in a gated community, away from everything what Brian was saying about, and then you, like Brian said, you had to get out your car and walk past this, you'd be like, whoa. The fuck's going on here? Like, I don't want to be driven past that no more. I want to be driven straight to my destination and go out in a clean environment. So people want to bypass it, if you know what I mean, and ignore what's going on. So that's the level of deprivation we're getting to because it's everywhere. If you look at it, it's over France. Like Paris is a mess. You know what I mean? It ain't just San Francisco. It's lots of left-wing cities because of their stupid policies. Because they ain't really catering for the people they're bringing in, really, because they're not causing their problems. So it's.
You're telling me that you don't want to buy a Birkin bag, walk down the streets with your family, see a guy defecate, and just feel good about yourself, you know?
No,
Feel good about
exactly.
your
Yeah, that sounds like a
choices.
good day out.
Freedom.
That sounds like freedom to me, man.
I have so much money that I bought an alligator purse for 50
Yeah.
grand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I had the pleasure of watching someone shoot up and defecate on the street whilst doing it.
Yeah, that's just a bonus for life. you
Yeah,
know?
that was a bonus. Yeah. So what a cardboard box toilet? What engineering and into what's it called? Being innovative. Like how great is that? Like
Ingenuity.
yeah, it's like coming out his tent, getting to crap outside as well, looking up at the stars at night. Lovely.
Gazing eyes with each other as he
Yeah.
defecates.
Yeah, as your
That's
neighbour,
nice.
your neighbour next. You can have a chat.
Yeah,
You can have a
looking
chat
at
with
it
your
like
neighbour.
like your dog
yeah.
does. You know, you take
Yeah.
dog for a walk, he's taking a shit.
$5,000 a month for the privilege.
What you want about? That's how they
like,
clean
oh,
their
man.
bums. The dog will come up and lick their bum for
Oh
free.
no,
Free
no,
bum
boo,
wash.
boo, boo, no, Billy, no. Wow,
Oh,
that's
Yeah, but dogs are filthy, aren't they? But
Jesus.
like it's like this is the level of shit probably going on the streets now because we've got. But that's on the street, man. Like you're saying, it's defecating
yeah.
and tents on the street. When society's got to that level, it's broken down, and the left are creating more and more of this with stupid policies, and like everyone else is called right wing for saying this, and it's gone. Like I said, people are sort of ignoring it. Like you said, even you're walking away from. Everyone's walking away because it's become to a level of chaos out there now. It's like when no one's safe on the streets, then it's like, well, shit needs to change, doesn't it? And fast. It's what do we actually do? We've got to try and vote our way out of it, like America, isn't it? And just stay strong. That the people you voted in do the right things, and that it works. Do you think it's gonna?
Hey,
Do you think
fellas.
America's gonna work? As an ending note, do you think it's gonna work? what Trump's doing, and you're going to change in 4 years enough to make a difference.
I do, man. I'm hopeful because clearly I'm running a very, very small business, and the things that it seems like make sense for people that run businesses, and I'm not talking about like mega corporations. I'm talking about like mom and
you're
pops
small
that probably
biz.
have like like 10 or less employees. These policies, if it works out, are going to be huge for entrepreneurs that take risk. Is it going to benefit all of Trump's friends? Yeah, absolutely. But that's kind of how that shit works, man. You know, I mean, whoever's in power usually
It's
kind
going
of.
to, but you want
But this
good
time it
business.
feels like this time it does feel like if this shit works out, the entrepreneur at least will probably be able to become a lot more successful under this administration. If you're the average worker and you're stuck with like whatever your salary is and things are getting crazy expensive because of certain policies in the short term, I would be on the other side of things, I think, and be very negative and pessimistic. But from a business standpoint, I do see why if we bring things back, we force mega companies like Apple and stuff to bring the money back, bring manufacturing back. All of those things will take a long time. But if that's forced with basically money, which is the only thing that seems where people, violence or money seem to be the only thing where people will cooperate with one another. And I would rather see it be money than violence.
That's probably the best way to say it. Yeah, money over violence is certainly the option, isn't it? If you're going to persuade people to do something, you'd want to send in the tariffs rather than the armies on each other to fight over things. And so, thanks, Brian, for joining us. I think we'll end it there as well because it has been a couple of hours now. But I do think, like Mackie said, I agree with him that the left have been a bit more fried than the right recently, which is topsy-turvy, isn't it, from what we've grown up with over the years. So let's hope it all changes.
But I just want everybody out there to, think for yourself, man. You don't listen to what we're saying. Don't listen to what the mainstream media is saying.
Listen to us.
Gather as much information you can and believe, but it's all bullshit and it's all somebody's fucking opinion. So you make up your own. Don't follow somebody else's. That's whether you line up with what I believe in or what Billy believes in or what Brian believes in. Or some random person on TV. Just take it all skeptically, man.
Yeah, take your time over learning things as well. Don't just make a decision on one video you've seen. Like, it's going to take you a month.
And it's okay to say you don't know.
Yeah, it's okay not to agree for both sides. Totally, it's probably the best thing to do at the minute is just watch everything come out slowly, because the truth comes out in the end.
It's also okay to change your mind.
Yeah,
like
that's
Mackie,
it. Yeah, either way, you can change your mind,
Brian.
man.
Don't rub it in.
I think to be honest, it shows that you're at least like, I know I have a certain viewpoint, so maybe I'm biased, but it shows if you're really paying attention, sometimes it does seem like you're going to go more towards the right with some things because long term, like what's happening, what we were mentioning in some of these cities, San Francisco is kind of the beacon for that. People that are making decisions, people that are trying to build businesses, people that are trying to hire other people, create jobs, don't want to have their $50 million investment be where this city is allowing people to defecate and use drugs. So that's the part that I don't think enough, like the average person realizes, where if these big brands all go to like Texas per se or something like that, and they're all out of there, I don't know how a state like California is going to be able to operate because a lot of the big brands are leaving. And Newsom's, for the most part, I think, kind of at fault for that.
Yeah, I get what you mean there. But again, I think we'll just end it there because we could rant on this all night because there is so much to bloody talk about on this subject. I think, isn't it? It just goes on and on and on with some of the level of craziness on the policies and the changes we've had in the world recently. So let's just hope everyone takes a step back from being too extreme and get some actual information and knowledge back out there again. We'll use some logic and reason again, maybe one day. So just
We can dream,
I
Billy.
suggest,
We can
like
dream.
as a cannabis user, man, just smoke some weed, chill out a bit. Like let's try and get discussion more. As stoners used to sit about and like discuss shit without the internet. Remember them days, like you said in the 90s. You sit about, smoke weed, and discuss. So maybe get in person and talk about these things more than with strangers on the internet. So with that, I'm gonna press all the buttons somewhere, like, and say end recordings and stop broadcasting. So start waving to all the cucks out there. Cheers.
Waving, everybody,
Waving.
waving.
So cheers, Brian and Mackie, for joining me, chatting random shit.
Great talk, Billy.
Yeah, man.
Pleasure as always.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to end broadcast as well, guys. Well, no, I'll give you a quick outro. I'll click the outro button now. So, later.